I'm DeLoné, and I'm going to show you some of my work. My favorite things to draw when I was younger was anime. Toonami was real big at the time. Sailor Moon was like the anime that everybody knew about. And I just remember like these really powerful like women that could like kick so much butt, and it was just really cool to like want to be them and then want to draw them, because I loved just the way like the eyes were and the hair flowed, and there were so many aspects of that. And it started out tracing them and then turning into drawing the characters freehand. After I graduated, I wanted to go to art school. I just couldn't afford it. Property management ended up falling into my lap as the career of choice. I started drawing early on, but my first painting was in 2009. I'd had a pretty hard miscarriage, and one of my friends was like, hey, have you heard of Frida Kahlo? You know, she's this artist that, you know, used her pain and some of her experiences and put it into her art and made these beautiful things out of it. I know you like to draw. And she bought me my first canvas and my first paints, and I did my first painting. This was the sketch that ended up becoming my first painting. It's just a girl with her back towards you and a black rabbit. It signified at the time, you know, me having a really rough miscarriage and just some things I was going through. I taught myself literally how to paint by watching Bob Ross. And just learning like shading and like, oh, you can make like leaves look like this by just like dotting it real hard with your brush. And like learning shadowing and like stuff like that. I literally just watched Bob Ross and taught myself how to do that. This is my earliest sketchbook from 2009, which is almost more meaningful because that's when I really started to come into, oh, I'm an artist. Like, this is what I really enjoy. Like, let's start working more with this. This one, again, just with a female form and like trying to figure out, you know, what I love about myself, I think is really what I was exploring. I moved to Austin about 2018. I was living in LA and unfortunately in an extremely abusive situation. I literally had everything that I could fit in my Kia Soul and my 2 dogs, and I drove straight from Los Angeles. At the beginning of the pandemic, I was in property management still, but slowly making the transition to do something else, and then ended up getting laid off. And I was like, well, let's just start making art. You know, I love working on art. I always complained that I don't have enough time to work on art. And wood burning was something that I'd kind of been experimenting with. And I was like, I need to make some more money. Maybe let's wood burn some earrings. Let's just see if those hit. You know, let's wood burn some small, like little wood carving cutouts and stuff like that. And then from there, like it just turned into a snowball effect of just being able to have the energy to produce and produce and produce and produce good stuff, you know, not just like throwaway stuff. At the beginning of my art journey, it was me just drawing anime characters just because I liked the way they looked, you know, and I really enjoyed drawing. It was very meditative for me. And as I got into painting, a lot of my paintings, so my early paintings, were mainly these beautiful pale white women with red hair, because my mom was pale with red hair, and Ariel from The Little Mermaid was pale with red hair, and I wanted to be both of them when I grew up, and not understanding who I was as a whole at the time. And as I progressed and like, especially over this last, you know, year with everything going on, really loving, you know, my Black side of me, my Cherokee side of me, like loving all those different aspects that actually make me me. This is one of my latest pieces. I just completed her about a week ago or so. And you can kind of see like how my styles progress, some of what I was talking about with, you know, some of the body and like the curves that I'm exploring, the different color hands just symbolizing my different heritages coming together and lifting me up, Although this one, I decided not necessarily to give too much information on. I'm letting people interpret it as they want. Because even though there's a story for me, so many people during the process of making her have come up with their own stories about what she's gonna be. And I kind of want them to feel that connection on their own without me putting too much of my input into it. So right now, when it comes to my art making, I'm a full-time artist. I never thought I'd actually be able to say that. I've always wanted to say that, but it's actually come true. And like all these cool things are just kind of falling into my lap during this really kind of hard time for a lot of people. And it's a balance of acknowledging and understanding and honoring that this is a really hard time for a lot of people right now, and then also honoring the fact that, oh my God, I'm happy because I'm able to create full time, and understanding what that truly means for me. I'm DeLoné. Thank you so much for taking this trip on the past with me. Do or do not, there is no try.